All right, friends, we are back. Carson Meredith with you. It is 2:47 on this Saturday afternoon. Hope you're making the best of this damp and dreary day. We have a little bit of good news and we have a little bit of not so good news as we continue to go through our alert day. We are not out of the woods just yet at all, not even close. But a lot of us, quite honestly, more than I expected, have had a nice break in the heavier rain for the last several hours. The problem is, of course, that break has not really taken place in the area we're most concerned about. So let's just dive right in. That is the view of radar across wave country. And for the most part, so far today, the flooding, the heaviest, more extreme rainfall amounts have stayed just to our south. Not by much, but it's mainly been an issue so far for our friends down along the Kentucky-Tennessee border. And part of the reason why is because this warm front that is going to lift northward through wave country over the next few hours is a little bit behind what the forecast models were showing over the last day or so. But again, on the north side of this system, basically all of our southern Indiana counties here in Louisville, Corydon, Shelbyville, LaGrange, Bedford, Carrollton, the moisture has basically been cut off for a little bit. So this is really going to, and I don't want to make it sound like we're all clear because we're not totally all clear, but that's going to knock down the rainfall totals along and north of I-64, which is a very good thing for us here in the metro especially. However, I emphasize that the heavier rain that has largely been down here today is about to start making its way northward over the next 3 or 4 hours. So we will see those rain chances start to climb again here in Louisville and in southern Indiana over the next, I'd say, 3 or 4 hours. Here in the city, I think we'll start to see rain again no later than 4 o'clock. And the heavy stuff begins after 5 or 6 p.m. And that's when the flooding concern will also start to go up. But if you don't have much rain out at your house right now, maybe it's just some drizzle, consider yourself blessed because our friends to the south have not been so lucky so far this morning and into this afternoon, obviously now. Let me see if I can get my comments going. Over 300 of you watching on a Saturday afternoon, middle of the day. We appreciate it. Let's see. Scott's watching on YouTube. He asked, what time is the heavy rain going to be? We kind of mentioned it here in Louisville. I think after 5 or 6 o'clock is when that heaviest rain starts to take over. And it could stay rather heavy through at least here in Louisville, at least until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So if we're going to have flooding issues in the metro, it's going to be this evening. So keep that in mind if you're heading out and about tonight. Anita's watching. Hope you have the ark ready. We're all going to have our arks ready, right, Anita? No kidding. We're in the calm before the next storm, Dave says, rather. Yes, That is exactly right. That is exactly right. Weather Geeks watching. She asks, the weather radio was talking about 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts tomorrow. Is that still probable? Yes. We've been so focused, or I have been so focused on today, now casting, if you will, that I haven't really mentioned tomorrow. I'm going to do that here with this update since I have a little more time than I normally do for these updates. Let's see. Beverly's watching in Campbellsville. Amanda's in Bardstown. Any potential severe weather tonight? Unfortunately, there is still a chance for a few severe storms, mainly south of Bardstown. I really don't think, Amanda, you have to worry about severe weather. Your main concern in Bardstown is going to be the heavy rain and flooding as the night goes on. More comments in a minute. I don't want to waste too much time, though, since it is such a busy, busy day. Let's talk about how much rain we have seen so far. There has been substantial amounts of rain already in our southern counties. As we have talked about for days, there is going to be a narrow band setting up, likely in central Kentucky, where we would see grand total 4 to 6 inches of rain or higher. We are well on track at this stage of the game, unfortunately. Litchfield is up to 2.3, Mumfordville 2.8, Columbia 3.07. And those counties, or those communities rather, have been really right on the edge of that more, that more extreme rain, at least this morning and into the early afternoon. But a lot of the action today has been from Adair County through Bowling Green out towards Hopkinsville, basically this yellow zone that I'm circling. We've had plenty of reports of roads covered with water, flooded out. Not many washed out roads from what I've seen, but flooded for sure, especially across Barron County, Kentucky, Cumberland County, Russell County, down near that southern part of the state, Monticello, Jamestown. Our friends just outside of Wave Country have been hit hard so far today. And that heavy rain is on its way north, close into more parts of the region. Another look at the totals here in Louisville. Had a pretty good soaking earlier this morning. Had that drizzle still with us pretty much all day. Half inch of rain officially so far at the airport. A little over an inch in Hardinsburg. Let's see, 1.29 in E-Town. Lebanon knocking on the door of 2 inches of rain already. Much lighter amounts to our friends in southern Indiana so far because the water hose has been kind of cut off over the last 3 or 4 hours, which is a good thing. A very, very good thing for our friends north of the Ohio River. We do have a flash flood warning in effect for Adair County. This goes for most of the county. So for our friends at Columbia, hey, hi, hello. Your flash flood warning is in place until 7:15 Eastern time, 6:15 down in Adair County. So another 4+ hours to go on this flash flood warning. There will be more flash flood warnings this afternoon and tonight as that heavier rain moves back to the north. And I still think areas south of Louisville are at the greatest risk for flooding, period, and also flash flooding. The Weather Service has been very proactive today with not only issuing flash flood warnings because flooding has been occurring so quickly, but keeping those flash flood warnings in place. Flash flood warnings, when they are issued for your location, your phone makes crazy sounds. And that's, in my mind, a good way to really communicate to the masses that this is a big issue. There's flooding happening. You could issue regular flood warnings all day long, but those don't set off everybody's phones. Flash flood warnings do. So it really drives home that message that we've got flooding problems across southern Kentucky. And as I zoom things out, take radar full screen, you can see I mean, there's flash flood warnings everywhere. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle in southern Kentucky and northern Tennessee. Nashville's under a flash flood warning. The northern Nashville suburbs, we got flash flood warnings all the way down into the Mississippi River Valley, north of Memphis. And you saw kind of a sneak peek of what's to come right there. That's just kind of a piece of it. The eastern parts of Missouri, southern Illinois, that it's coming, folks. It's moving to the north slowly but surely. So if you are not seeing heavier rain now, you likely will be over the next couple of hours. Big picture setup. Here's why things are stalled out. Warm front basically has been right along the Kentucky-Tennessee line today. However, as we zoom things out more, look at this low pressure in Oklahoma. That thing is going to move right through wave country tonight. And as it does, kind of along a path like so, it is going to push this pseudo warm front north. So that's a big reason why a lot of you are going to top out in the 50s tonight. We have not seen our high temperatures for the day yet. Here in Louisville, we've been stuck in the 40s all day, as expected. We're going to get into the low 50s this evening as this surge of warmer air pushes north. That also means that that heavy axis of heavy rain that we've had so far across southern Kentucky today is also going to lift north. And that's why we still expect to see more significant amounts of rainfall, especially across the Commonwealth, through the rest of this afternoon and tonight. And depending on how far north that warm front goes tonight, there is still a window for a few stronger storms across southern Kentucky as well. Southern Kentucky, unfortunately, is just like ground zero for all of the greatest concern with this entire setup, unfortunately. That's the live view of Bardstown. We mentioned earlier, I'm so tired, I've already forgotten the number. Close to 1.5 inches of rain, I think, in Bardstown. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm exhausted. We got a long ways to go tonight. Let's look at how much rain there was in Bardstown at this stage of the game, so I can remember. Well, the number wasn't up there. Of course it wasn't. I'd say basically around 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches so far in Bardstown today. Steady rain, nothing too terribly heavy yet. That will likely be changing in the hours ahead. It's 45 in Louisville. Again, as that warmer air gets nudged into further areas north, we'll top out in all likelihood in the low to mid 50s this afternoon, or this evening, rather. It's going to be one of those odd days, odd nights, where we have high temperatures in the evening rather than the afternoon. So here's an alert day update. There's no major changes, other than maybe seeing some slightly lighter rainfall amounts in southern Indiana because we've had a little more dry time up there. That's all the changes we got. Here's another change. I've pushed back the alert day 1 hour. So instead of it ending at 1 o'clock, it's going to end at 2 a.m. And the reason for that is because this entire system is a little behind schedule. And the high resolution models keep slowing down the passage of the cold front. And until that cold front gets through here, we are not in the clear when it comes to severe weather or heavy rain and flooding. I mean, the flooding threat could persist for a while, but the heavy rain threat will not be clear until the cold front gets out of here. And again, it's running a little slow when you look at the high resolution models today. So nudged it back an hour to 2 a.m. From now until 2 a.m., so the next 11 hours, we will continue to see very heavy rain move in, likely lifting south to north as the evening progresses, causing flash flooding as we've already seen, as we already talked about. Creeks and rivers are going to start running high rather quickly, especially those smaller creeks and rivers. But we also still have that window for a few stronger storms, namely in our far southern counties this evening. No severe weather threat right now, but I think once we get past 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, there's going to be that 4-hour window, 4 or 5 hour window where we might have some problems. So let that info sink in, and I'll jump back to the comments if my computer will cooperate. It keeps kicking me out of my my comment computer for some reason. All right, here we go. Let's see. Beverly's watching us in Campbellsville. Let's see. Ann wants to know about the snow. How much snow? How much black ice? We're going to get to that. We'll get to there, I promise. Let's see. Tabitha says her chicken coop and goat pen are completely flooded in Raywick. That's not surprising, I'm afraid. Hang in there. There's hopefully the animals are okay. Because this rain will continue down near Raywick for quite some time, even as the heaviest rain lifts north. Josh is asking about Lebanon. Yeah, you guys have seen about a little under 2 inches of rain so far, 1.86 technically. You'll likely pick up another 2 to 4 inches of rain, I'd say, through this entire ordeal. Matthew on YouTube has a great point. The sump pumps are working overtime tonight. That is for sure. Hopefully you got your basements prepped. Got everything lifted off the floor, at least. I told my parents to do that to their house last night. Make sure they get all the stuff off the floor, because when I was a kid, that basement flooded all the time. And I'm afraid it might happen again. Let's see. Landon says it was not a fun drive this morning. Barely made it up hills without the tires spinning at 50. Hydroplaning around curves. That's the thing, guys. This is a great point, Landon. With the heavy rainfall rates that we could see, that we've already seen south of us for the most part, and could see in our area the next few hours, it's not going to take much to cause hydroplaning. It's not going to take much to reduce your visibilities. So I'm not saying stay home tonight. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're going to be out tonight, you've got to be extremely careful. Take it slow. If it takes you 10 minutes to get to your favorite restaurant, double your time. Give yourself 20 minutes instead. Take it slow. Be smart. Where's your tie? Well, we'll call this a casual update, I guess. I didn't want to wear a tie for 24 hours straight. So I was like, all right, I need a break. But I will have the tie on our TV newscast at 6. So take comfort in that. Appreciate you watching. Adam, always up in Bloomington, giving us reports up there. Only around 0.43 in Bloomington so far. Appreciate that, Adam. Sounds about right, because you guys have been fairly dry over the last few hours. More comments to come. Let's get back to the discussion of how the rest of this day and this night is going to play out. The high risk for extreme rainfall continues. If you're not familiar with this map, quite frankly, we very rarely use it. We do from time to time, but not a lot. This is very similar to our severe weather risk, which you see all the time, right? Remember, we very rarely have high risk for severe weather. Doesn't happen often, right? Likewise, we very rarely see high risk for extreme rainfall like we have today and tonight. The last time we had a high risk like this was 2018, 7 years ago. I was a junior at Western. Time flies. Anyway, this pink zone continues to be my area of greatest concern through the rest of the night, where this high risk is in place for our area specifically. Obviously, we've had that significant flooding in southern Kentucky, but when we're looking at wave country, I'm most concerned about Litchfield, Eatown, Hodgenville, Bardstown, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Columbia, Mumfordville, Horse Cave, Cave City, Glendale, Sonora, Willisburg, Gravel Switch, Raywick, all of those little communities. Central Kentucky. You really got to pay attention to any nearby creeks and rivers. If they're not running out of their banks now, they will be by tonight. And as this heavy rain continues to start lifting northward, or continues to lift northward, you're going to see more rain very quickly. On top of the 2 to 3 inches of rain this particular area has already seen today, I think there's a good chance we pick up another 2 to 3 inches of rain, if not more, before this is all done. So this is the main area of concern still, central down into southern Kentucky. The southern Kentucky flooding has happened and is continuing to take place. Now we start to focus on what's happening in central Kentucky over the next few hours. Now, further north, here into Louisville, where you see that moderate risk in red, technically, is that a step down? Yes. But the flooding threat is still there. We could still see here in Louisville 2 to 4 inches of rain tonight. That can cause urban flooding issues. In other words, streets start getting covered up. We've got ponding, hydroplaning. The interstates were bad. I mean, they were rough when I came back in from my lunch break earlier. So if it's already shaky, a little dicey driving on the interstates now with only a half inch of rain so far, you can imagine how rough it's going to be later tonight when that heavier rain moves in and maybe drops 2 to 4 inches of rain over the metro. So that's why the moderate risk for extreme rain continues closer to the Ohio River. And it's a lower threat into southern Indiana, where you really haven't seen much so far. So that's the extreme rainfall risk. Now, I've kind of buried the lead here. I apologize, but the severe weather risk has gone up slightly. Is this going to be a tornado outbreak tonight? No, it's not. But you do notice that slight risk in yellow now includes Bowling Green and just tries to bump up into Hart, Greene, and Adair County. And what the Storm Prediction Center is looking at, and what we have been looking at as well today internally, is the slower timing of the cold front is kind of allowing that storm fuel to sneak into southern Kentucky tonight. This system is going to have a ton of wind shear with it as it moves through. When we're talking about shear, we're talking about change in speeds with the wind, change in direction as well. And obviously, changes in wind speed and direction give you spin. But if you don't have storm fuel to go with that spin, your severe weather risk and your tornado risk is next to nothing. You're just worried about heavy rain. But the problem now is the high-resolution models are trying to pump in some of that storm fuel, and that could set the stage for a brief window where we have a few strong storms. Now, technically, this marginal risk in green, this low risk, goes all the way up to Shepherdsville and Hardinsburg and Nelson County. I'm not sold on that far north, but I do think Marion, maybe LaRue County, as well as Hart, Greene, Taylor, and Adair. I think this zone right here that I'm doing my best to circle, that you guys can see clearly, is the zone we will have to watch for a few stronger storms this evening from 8 o'clock until 2 a.m. for damaging wind gust and perhaps a quick spin-up tornado. This is not one of those deals where you have a gigantic mile-wide wedge that you see in Oklahoma that's on the ground for 3 hours. It's not like that. It'll be one of these deals where the tornado spins up, it drops on the ground for 30 seconds to a minute, goes right back up in the sky. And that's even if it happens. It's a very conditional threat. That means it's not a guarantee. But the chance is increasing at least a little bit for a few stronger storms across Hart County, Greene County, Taylor County, and Adair County between 8 o'clock tonight and 2 a.m. Sunday morning. If you don't live in Hart, Greene, Taylor, Adair, you don't have to worry about anything severe weather-wise. It's those 4 counties in wave country that we have to keep an eye on as the night goes on. I'll show you Futurecast here. And then we will go to more comments. Goodness, my computers are acting all kinds of crazy on me. I apologize. Hopefully you all can't see that I'm having all kinds of issues. All right, here's Futurecast, 7 o'clock tonight. The heavy rain is in Louisville. It's here. Again, I think it'll be moving into the metro. The heaviest rain will be moving in after 5 or 6 p.m. You see extremely heavy rainfall rates across the board. In this area where you see all the yellows and oranges and reds, we're talking maybe some spots seeing rainfall rates of 2 inches per hour. That is significant. That will cause flooding issues extremely quickly, especially down in central Kentucky where we've seen a lot of rain so far today. You notice as this warm front pushes the rain northward, pushes the heavy rain northward, you get a little window right here across Hart, Greene, Taylor, and Adair. That window is the warm sector. And that's where we may get some storm fuel that these storms along the cold front can feed off of as it sweeps through. And that's when the damaging wind gust potential comes into play. That's when the brief tornado potential comes into play. This is around 9 o'clock tonight. Here in Louisville, no severe weather. The only issue is heavy rain. Southern Indiana, same thing. I really think Bardstown, E-Town, same story, just heavy rain. It's going to be this area right here that we will have to watch for a few strong storms. Severe thunderstorm warnings possible? Yep. Tornado warning? I can't rule it out. I don't say that to scare you guys. It's just something to keep in mind if you live down near Mumfordville, Greensburg, Campbellsville, or Columbia. This is 11 p.m. Heavy rain continues across the board. We're watching that risk for a couple of stronger storms along the front as it moves through. And again, this front is slowing down just a little bit. Not a lot, but that slowdown might be enough of a window for a couple stronger storms. This is 1 a.m. Sunday morning, still pouring. It is still pouring everywhere, with the strongest storms exclusively in Greene, Taylor, and Adair County by 1 a.m. And by 2 o'clock, it's over. The worst of it is, I guess. The heavy rain will be exiting. The severe storm threat will be done. And that's why we're going to let the alert day end at 2 a.m. instead of 1 a.m. because of that slight slowdown. But you still see that it will continue to rain at least lightly through the rest of the night. And then, of course, that sets the stage for the snow on Sunday. We will get to that in a moment. Right now, we go back to the comments. And there are a ton of them. Holy cow. Look at that. 675 of you watching us on our social platforms right now. Dave's got a good point. 71 doesn't need any help to be rough drive. No kidding. Gosh, I hate driving 71. Slight risk is the same as a 2 out of 5. That is correct. For severe weather. Right. Ashley, as far as severe weather for northern Hardin County, I don't see it. If there is any kind of threat for Hardin County, it would be more towards Glendale and Sonora. Even then, I don't think it's much. I truly believe it's going to be Hart, Greene, Taylor, and Adair that we'll have to watch for strong storms. Sorry, looks like they're updating one of the flash flood warnings for Adair County, so I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. It's just an extension of the flash flood warning that we already talked about. Valerie says, that looks intense. It is. This is going to be very heavy rain that rolls through tonight. The heaviest rainfall rates will easily get close to 2 inches per hour. What does that mean? That means if that heavy rain were to sit in that same spot for an hour, it would drop 2 inches of rain. That's going to cause flooding very quickly. So yeah, this could be a rough night. If you got to be out, hey, if you got to be out tonight, just be careful. If you got delayed Valentine's Day plans, I don't. But if you do, be careful. Just watch for ponding on the roads, watch for hydroplaning, things like that. Chris is asking, who's going to help you during prime time tonight? Right now, it's just me. But they're watching it. I've been talking to them all day. I've been talking to the rest of the team all day long. If it gets to a situation where I have to go on the air for tornado coverage, somebody will be here to take care of me. I can promise you that. We've got a great team here. You think there's a power outage threat? We kind of talked about this morning, although it was a very early update this morning. So if you slept through it, I don't blame you. What we'll have to watch tonight as the stronger storm potential is there right around this time frame. Our southern counties. If we do eventually see a damaging wind threat develop, the saturated ground might knock down a couple of trees, which in turn might cause a few power outages in our far southern communities. I don't think it's a huge threat at this stage of the game, but it's not something I want to totally discount. We'll watch it. Not a huge concern, but we'll watch it closely, especially if we do get those stronger storms tonight. Tommy says, I really hope you can get a nap soon. So do I. But weather never stops. Weather never sleeps. So we'll be all right. We've had plenty of long nights around here lately, and this is just another one of them. All right, let's talk about Sunday snow, and then I'll wrap this up. This is going to be a quick thumping of snow. Is it advisory level snow? No. Is it warning level snow? No, not even close. But it's going to be enough to, if nothing else, reduce visibilities as you're trying to get to church in the morning or brunch or whatever Sunday morning plans you might have. It's going to be a very quick transition from rain to snow. It'll be rain. Then for an hour, it'll be a mix. Next hour goes by, it's all snow. This cold air is rushing in very quickly tonight. We'll go from the 40s and 50s down into the 30s in 4 hours tonight. Very, very quick cold snap moves in. As that changeover occurs, that's when the snow chances are at their highest, early in the morning. So from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., 5 to 10. That window in the morning is when snow chances will be at their highest. However, we're in a perfect position where you get some of that moisture influence from the north and west. I don't necessarily want to say lake effect, but it kind of is. That moisture gets brought in to the south and east from Lake Michigan. And with that low pressure still nearby, we're kind of under the influence of that low pressure. We'll have snow showers for most of the day tomorrow, 30 to 40% chance. What's going to work in our favor, though, is the temperatures will be hovering near freezing most of the time. And the ground will still be very wet from the rain we've had, and it'll be fairly warm. So accumulations do not look huge. I think, if anything, a coating on the top of the car and the top of the roof on the house at this stage of the game. And you notice those snow shower chances, say that 10 times fast, they fade away after 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Here's Futurecast. This is Sunday morning. This is when the snow chances are at their highest. Temperatures while it's snowing, will likely be hovering near or maybe a tick above freezing. But again, the warm and wet ground will kind of keep things in check from accumulating. But you notice as the day goes on, those streamers, those streams of snow showers start to develop. See, just kind of shoot, 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 like that. And we'll keep those around most of the day. I think, like I said, nothing more than a coating. But what we will have to watch as we get into Sunday night, look at the temperatures at 7 o'clock, upper 20s across the board. Guys, I'm telling you, the second the sun goes down tomorrow night, we lose any kind of heating, which won't be much. It'll still be cold. We lose any kind of sunlight that tries to get through the clouds. Again, it won't be much. And anything that is wet or is flooded is going to freeze over. We could have widespread black ice on Monday morning. I know for some of you, it's a holiday. I didn't realize this until this morning. It's President's Day on Monday. So if you work for banks or federal workers, I don't know if the state closes Monday or not, but anyway, some of you might be off Monday morning, which would be great. But if you have to go to work, there will likely be some black ice issues Monday morning. And if we're still seeing snow showers as Sunday evening progresses and we go below freezing, those snow showers will start to accumulate as we go below freezing. There won't be much accumulation during the day. We still got snow showers in the evening. They will accumulate. They will stick. And that could cause some tricky travel as well. So if it's not one thing, it's another. It's crazy. Just absolutely crazy what has been going on here the last couple of months with this pattern. So that's where things stand for tomorrow. Let's see what more questions we have. Sorry, I'm just reading every comment. Danny has a great tweet, a great comment on Twitter, X, whatever. Best advice, just use common sense tonight. You got it. You got it. Just be smart. I said it this morning. I don't care if you have a big pickup truck with big monster wheels. It's not going to get through floodwaters. You don't know how deep that floodwater is. If it's more than a foot, it can push your car off the road like it's a toy. So just be careful if you're going to be out tonight. Oh boy. Dave poses an interesting question. Some people were saying there might be the possibility of a foot of snow on Tuesday. That wasn't us. I can tell you that. However, as I jump to the 10-day earliest alert here it comes. Well, this is today's. Doggone it. I forgot to switch them. Hang on. Let me get you the right 10-day. Stand by, stand by, stand by. Don't you love live TV? Don't you love live streaming? It's always an adventure. You will see on the 10-day that there is snow in the forecast for the middle of next week. We all know that, right? Right now, and quite frankly, I haven't had enough time to look at like deep dive into specifics and accumulations and things like that. I haven't. Nobody else has either. That's still a work in progress. We got to get through tonight. But it looks like by the middle of next week, we could start to see that snow Tuesday night, with most of the snow falling on Wednesday. Now, you might be seeing some screenshots on Twitter or Facebook or whatever of one single model run, one single model that says, oh my gosh, we're going to get 16 inches of snow. Remember, that is cherry picked That is somebody picking something that looks good for a screenshot to get a bunch of likes on social media, and that's it, and to cause a panic. We don't play that game. What we will say is confidence is quite high at this point that we will see accumulating snow Tuesday night into Wednesday. How much accumulations? Way too early. I'm hopeful by Monday we will have a snowfall forecast for you regarding Tuesday night and Wednesday. If not sooner, we'll see. But we should have a forecast no later than Monday for that system, okay? Will it cause travel impacts? I think there's a very good chance it will. That's why we flagged Wednesday as an alert day. That's when most of the snow is going to fall. And of course, when there'll be most travel issues. There's some models that are trying to give us another quick little, I don't want to call it a clipper, but it's something very similar, just like a little quick shot of lighter snow on Thursday too. That's not set in stone. We'll watch it. I really think the main focus is Tuesday night and Wednesday. And then next weekend, we can take a breath because it'll be quiet. Thank the Lord. But you also notice as the week goes on, it is going to get cold, the likes of what we saw in January cold, with highs in the 20s, if you're lucky. I think we may be stuck in the teens all day Thursday, especially if we have a snowpack. And if we do have a snowpack, we will likely see overnight lows in the single digits, if not below zero. So if you thought we were done with this Arctic air, think again, because it is going to stay very cold. Once we go below freezing tomorrow evening, we're not getting above freezing again until Saturday, guys. It's not going to be fun. Not going to be fun at all. Let's see. Anita says, any dry time? Monday looks mostly dry. I will say that. I got a 10% chance for maybe a couple flurries. Shouldn't be a huge deal. If you're looking for a much more solid chance of dry weather, you're going to have to wait, unfortunately, Anita, until Friday into next weekend. Boo. I don't like that either. Good question. Anne is ready for a foot of snow. Well, remember, that's not our forecast. That's not our forecast. That's not our forecast. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting to watch. I do think accumulations are expected. I think we're going to see some snow. The question is how much. Adam says models show the end of February finally warming up. Early spring, question mark. Yes, it is going to get a little warmer. You kind of see the beginning of that warm up at the end of the 10-day. 42 next Sunday, 47, 49 the days after that. So, yeah, we're going to warm up for the last week of February. The question is how long? Do we have one last shot of winter? Or can we finally say sayonara? We'll see. Ann says, should parents be prepared for possible NTI on Wednesday? Yeah, I know Jefferson County is out already Monday and Tuesday, planned. Remember the disclaimer that we always give, we do not make school decisions, okay? We do not make recommendations one way or the other. If you're looking for, should we be prepared for possible NTI or a possible snow day? I would say yes. That's not me saying that it is going to be a snow day, but it's possible at least. And so hope that answers your question. I try to be very careful with when it comes to school questions. Dave says, thanks for the info. Of course, that's what we're here for. Linda's asking about the alert day for Wednesday. That's the snow potential. The snow could start Tuesday night, but most of the accumulations and travel issues will be on Wednesday. So that's why we flagged Wednesday to give you that heads up that if you got to go to work, there's going to be travel problems probably on Wednesday. And like we mentioned, there's a chance that we could have maybe some school issues too. but it's early. 4 days out. 4 days. Lots going to change. Karen has the perspective that I need. I look at it the bright side. March is right around the corner. Yes. Warmer weather is right around the corner. I hope so. It's going to warm up. Just might take a little bit. But that's okay. That is okay. Josh asked if I will be on around 7 tonight. As long as I am not in the middle of severe weather coverage, I will do an update this evening. It may not be at 7. It might be, well, it just depends. Excuse me. It just depends on what the severe weather potential is looking like. Are we seeing, catastrophic flooding? Do I need to do updates on television? Things like that. And I got to try to find a dinner break in there. But somewhere between 7:30 and 8:30, I will hopefully do another update this evening, okay? As long as you got the Wave Weather app, notifications turned on, or as long as you got the Facebook notifications or Twitter notifications for when Wave Weather is live, you'll know when I'm about to start yapping again. But yes, I will do another update this evening. All right. So that's going to do it for now. I do have a newscast to get ready for. So you will hear from me again coming up tonight at 6 o'clock on Wave. We will have the Wave Storm Tracker out, checking on road conditions in Louisville as the heaviest rain is starting. Obviously, I will be tracking the heavy rain, where it's at, where it's going next, the severe weather potential. And if I have time, I'll try to talk about snow for Wednesday. But we got to get through tomorrow's snow chance first. So busy stretch continues, guys. Hang in there. I'd say we're close to halfway through this ordeal today. But again, that heavier rain's about to move back north, so do not let your guard down. If you haven't seen much rain in the last few hours, it is coming back in, and it could be heavy, and it could cause flooding problems. So please be careful as you're out and about tonight. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I will see you on the television side of things tonight, coming up on Wave News at 6. All right, that's it for now. See you guys later. Be careful.